She told me she was bored and needed thrills. I told her life's too short for regrets, then I sold everything and vanished. Weeks later, she was the one begging to find me. She left looking for excitement, but I was the one who finally found peace. "Can we talk?" she asked, standing in the doorway with that rehearsed calm that usually meant something bad was coming. I looked up from my laptop. "Sure. What's going on?" Her eyes darted to the window, then back at me. I don't know how to say this without sounding cruel. My stomach tightened. "Try honesty. That usually works." She sighed, wrapping her arms around herself like she was cold. "I feel bored, Ethan. This relationship feels predictable. I need to feel alive again. I need thrills." For a second, I thought she was joking. "Thrills?" I repeated. "Like roller coasters or affairs?" Her expression didn't change. "Don't twist my words. I need space to figure myself out. I'll be back. I just need to breathe." I stood up slowly, my heart pounding. "You're telling me you want to leave, and you think I'll just wait here like a bookmark?" She stepped closer. "I'm not ending things. I'm just pausing them." I laughed, but it came out broken. "You can't pause people, Clara. I'm not a show you can resume when you get bored. Please don't make this harder," she whispered. "I just want to live a little. I still love you." "Don't," I cut in. "Don't say you love me while packing your escape." Her eyes filled with guilt, but she didn't back down. "I'll come back when I've cleared my head. You'll see, this is just something I have to do." I stared at her, every word stabbing a little deeper. "And what am I supposed to do while you're out there, clearing your head?" She hesitated. "Wait for me." That was the moment something inside me cracked, quietly, completely. I nodded slowly. "All right. Go find your thrill." She blinked, surprised. "You're not going to fight for me?" I met her gaze, steady and calm. "No. I've spent years fighting for this. I'm done fighting for someone who's already halfway out the door." She picked up her bag, eyes glistening. "You'll understand one day." I forced a small smile. "Maybe. But by then, I won't care." She walked out without another word. The sound of the door closing echoed through the house like the end of a song I didn't know I'd been humming my whole life. The days that followed were strange. I kept expecting her to call, to say she'd changed her mind. But the silence stretched on, 5 days, then 10. I stopped checking my phone after the 3rd week. Ryan dropped by once. "You okay, man?" I shrugged. "Define okay." He looked around at the half-empty living room. "She really left, huh?" "Yeah," I said quietly. "Said she needed thrills. Guess peace wasn't exciting enough." He gave a half-smile. "What are you gonna do?" "I'm thinking of selling the house." Ryan's eyes widened. "Seriously?" "Yeah. Every corner of this place smells like her. I need a clean start." He nodded slowly. "That's bold." I sighed. "Bold or broken, depends on the day." A week later, the house was gone. I packed everything that still felt like mine into 2 boxes, sold the rest, and bought a one-way ticket to Portland. No note. No calls. Just silence. On the plane, I looked out the window and thought about what she'd said, "I need to feel alive." And for the first time in months, I actually did. 5 weeks later, my mother called. "Ethan, did you block Clara?" I froze. "Why?" "She's been calling everyone, crying, begging to know where you are. Says she made a mistake." I let out a quiet breath. "Tell her I'm fine. She wants to talk." "Mom," I said softly, "I don't owe her my peace just because she finally missed it." That night, I sat by the window of my small apartment, watching the rain slide down the glass. My phone buzzed once, Clara's name flashing across the screen. I stared at it for a long moment. Then I pressed ignore. The silence that followed didn't hurt anymore. It felt clean, earned, like a wound that finally stopped bleeding. She left searching for excitement. I left searching for peace. Only one of us found what we were looking for. I still remember the way her fork clinked against the plate that night, soft, metallic, and final. "Can you pass the salt?" she asked casually, like we weren't about to set fire to everything we built. I handed it to her without a word. Something in her eyes was distant, like she was looking through me, not at me. She took a breath, placed the fork down, and said it. "I feel bored in this relationship." For a moment, I didn't move. "Bored?" I repeated, trying to process it. "Like, bored how?" She looked down. "It's just, everything feels the same. The same mornings, the same dinners, the same," she hesitated, "you." My chest tightened. "The same me?" I forced a laugh, trying to mask the sting. "You mean the guy who's been working his ass off, cooking dinners, planning trips, trying to make you happy?" "I know you've tried," she said softly. "You're good. Too good, maybe. But I need more. I need excitement. Thrills. I need to feel alive again." "Alive?" I leaned back in disbelief. "You think love isn't enough? You think being loved isn't exciting enough?" Her eyes shimmered, guilt, maybe. Or pity. I couldn't tell. "It's not about you, it's about me. She paused, searching for words, "I need to find myself again." I stared at her, silent. My hands felt cold, my heart beat louder than her words. "So what? You just wake up one morning and decide I'm not enough?" She sighed. "Please don't make this harder than it already is." "Harder?" I repeated, my voice cracking. "You're breaking us apart over dinner and calling it self-discovery." Tears welled in her eyes. "It's not like that. I just need some space. I'll be back once I figure things out." I laughed bitterly. "You'll be back? Like this is some kind of vacation?" Her lip trembled. "You don't understand." "You're right," I cut her off. "I don't understand how someone can throw away years because they need thrills. What does that even mean?" She looked away, whispering, "It means I don't feel alive anymore." Something inside me broke. "So I'm the problem?" "No," she said quickly. "You're stable. Kind. Predictable. That's the issue." I stared at her, the words digging in like shards of glass. "So you're leaving stability to chase chaos?" She hesitated. "Maybe. Maybe chaos is what I need right now." I stood up, pacing. "You know what this sounds like? It sounds like you already decided this days ago." Her silence confirmed it. "How long?" I asked. "How long have you been planning to leave?" "A few weeks," she admitted quietly. "I didn't know how to tell you." I scoffed. "Right. So you practiced your little speech while I made you coffee every morning?" "Stop," she whispered, her voice shaking. "Please don't make me feel worse." "Worse?" I snapped. "You're walking out on me and you're worried about your feelings?" Her eyes glistened. "I'm sorry." I sat back down, suddenly drained. The anger was gone, replaced by something heavier, disbelief. "You really think you'll come back after this?" She reached for my hand. "I just need time, that's all. Maybe in a few weeks, I'll realize what I'm losing." I pulled my hand away. "By then, there won't be anything left to realize." She blinked, stunned. "What do you mean?" "I mean I can't sit around waiting for you to find yourself while I lose myself in the process." Her lip quivered. "You're not even going to try?" "I've been trying for years," I whispered. "You're the one giving up." We sat there in silence, the air thick with everything we weren't saying. The hum of the fridge was the only sound between us. Finally, she stood up, wiping her tears. "I'll pack a few things tonight." I nodded numbly. "Do what you need to do." She paused at the doorway, turning back to me. "I'll be back, okay? I promise." I didn't respond. I just watched her walk away, her shadow stretching long across the living room floor. When the door clicked shut, I sat there staring at the two untouched plates on the table. Her glass of wine still half full. I whispered to myself, how do you come back from something like this? But deep down, I already knew the answer. You don't. It's been 12 days since she left. I've counted every one. Hey, I texted her this morning, pretending to sound normal. Hope you're eating okay. No reply. At noon, I tried again. Saw your favorite show's new episode. You'd hate how they changed the ending. She replied an hour later, LOL yeah. That was it. 3 letters. I stared at them until the screen dimmed. I typed back, miss you. Then deleted it. Then typed it again. Then deleted it again. By evening, I gave in. Miss you, I finally sent. No reply. I scrolled through our old photos, the ones where she looked at me like I was her whole world. I used to believe that smile. Now it looked rehearsed, practiced, like she already knew she was leaving even then. Her latest post flashed on my screen, a beach selfie, sun hitting her face, drink in her hand. The caption, new energy sparkles. My stomach twisted. I whispered to myself, that should have been us. I called her, knowing she wouldn't pick up. Still, I tried. The ring felt longer than usual, every beep mocking me. When she finally texted back hours later, it was simple, busy with friends. Talk later. I wrote, sure, no problem. Then stared at the words. They didn't sound like me. They sounded like someone pretending not to care. Later that night, I sat on the couch surrounded by silence and half-empty bottles. I kept hearing her laugh, not in my head, but echoing from her Instagram stories. Music, people, flashes of her dancing. I muttered, you look happy. My voice cracked. Without me. My phone buzzed, my best friend, Adam. You good, man? I hesitated. Yeah. Just tired. He didn't believe me. You've been off the grid. Talk to me. She just needs time, I said. She said she'd come back. Adam sighed. She's posting like she moved on. I forced a laugh. You don't know her like I do. She always runs when she's overwhelmed. Edison, he said softly, sometimes running means leaving. I stayed quiet. He added, don't keep waiting for a text that won't change anything. I'm not waiting, I lied. He didn't call me out on it. Get some sleep, man. Yeah, I said. Night. When the call ended, the silence came rushing back, heavy and suffocating. I opened our chat again. I scrolled up, to the days when she used to send voice notes, heart emojis, and long rants about her day. I could almost hear her voice saying, you're my calm. Now, all I saw was emptiness, unread messages, fading blue ticks. I typed one last message, do you still think about me? Then stared at it for a long minute before erasing it. Instead, I sent, hope you're okay. No reply. Hours passed. The phone stayed dark. The clock ticked. The city outside moved on, cars, laughter, life. Everything kept going except me. I looked around the apartment, her jacket still hanging on the chair, her mug still on the counter. I couldn't bring myself to move them. It felt like if I kept things the same, maybe she'd walk back in and say, I missed you. I laughed bitterly at that thought. She's not coming back tonight, I whispered. The silence answered. I poured myself another drink, staring at the door like it owed me an explanation. For a second, I almost convinced myself that this was temporary, that she just needed air. That any day now, I'd hear her keys in the lock. But deep down, I knew. When someone starts sounding like a stranger, you can't text them back into love. You just watch the echoes fade until you realize, the only person still talking is you. The call came just past midnight. At first, I thought it was a wrong number, no one ever called that late. Then I saw the name, Ryan. Hey, I answered, voice thick with exhaustion. Everything okay? He hesitated. Yeah. I mean, not really. You awake? I am now. I tried to laugh, but something in his tone made my chest tighten. What's wrong? Man, I've been thinking about whether to tell you this or not, he said. But you deserve to know. My heart skipped. Know what? There was silence. Then a sigh. I saw her tonight. The words hit like a punch. What do you mean, saw her? She was at Skyline Rooftop, you know, the one near downtown. I swallowed hard. Okay, maybe she just went out with friends. She needs space, remember? He paused again. She wasn't alone, Edison. My throat went dry. Who was she with? He took a shaky breath. Some guy. Tall, dark hair, looked close to her. They were laughing, holding hands. I laughed, sharp and nervous. You're joking. I wish I was. I could hear him moving, maybe pacing. At first, I thought I was mistaken. But then I got closer. Ryan, I whispered, stop. I saw her head on his shoulder, man. She looked, he cut himself off. She looked happy. I sat up straight, the blanket falling off. You're lying. I'd never lie to you about this, he said quietly. Maybe it wasn't her. It was her, Edison. His voice cracked. I even took a photo. I didn't want to, but I knew you'd never believe me. I didn't respond. My body froze, my mind refused to move. Seconds later, my phone buzzed. A message. I opened it. The picture loaded slowly, pixel by pixel. But the moment her face appeared, smiling, glowing under the neon lights, my world just stopped. Her hand was in his. Their fingers intertwined like they'd done it 1,000 times before. The same hand I used to hold when she'd fall asleep on the couch. The same smile that used to belong to me. Edison? Ryan's voice sounded far away. You there? I didn't speak. Man, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have sent it. Forget it. Please. I finally whispered, she said she needed space, not someone else. I know. I could barely breathe. She told me she wanted to find herself. Guess she found him instead. Ryan exhaled softly. You didn't deserve this. I rubbed my face, trying to think. You sure that was tonight? Yes. I saw them leave together. My chest burned. Where'd they go? He hesitated again. Her car. I closed my eyes. Right. Neither of us spoke for a long time. Only the hum of the city outside filled the silence. Finally, I said, thanks for telling me. You're not alone in this, okay? I am, I said. I just didn't know it until now. He sighed. I'll come over if you want. No, my voice cracked. I just need a minute. Call me if you need anything. Yeah. When the line went dead, I sat in the dark staring at the photo again. My hand trembled as I zoomed in on her face. She looked so alive. So free. I whispered, so that's what freedom looks like. The words tasted like ash. I turned my head and saw our wedding picture on the shelf. Her white dress, my black suit, our ridiculous smiles frozen in time. We looked untouchable then, like forever was promised to us. I stood up and picked up the frame. My reflection stared back at me in the glass, eyes red, face hollow. I wanted to smash it. I wanted to tear it apart. But my hands wouldn't move. Instead, I whispered, you really moved on that fast? The silence around me answered. I placed the frame back gently, face down this time. I couldn't stand to look at us anymore. My phone buzzed again, another notification. For a moment, my heart leapt. Maybe it was her. Maybe she'd explain, say it wasn't what it looked like. But it wasn't her. Just another ad. I laughed bitterly. Figures. I walked to the window, looked out at the city lights, each one blinking like tiny lies. She was somewhere out there. Laughing. Holding someone else's hand. And I was here, holding on to ghosts. My reflection on the glass looked like a stranger. Who am I now? I muttered. No answer came, only the sound of my heartbeat slowing, like even it was tired of hoping. I sat back down, staring at the upside-down photo frame. That night, I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there, quiet, still, and broken. Because sometimes, heartbreak doesn't roar. It just whispers, "You've been replaced." I didn't sleep that night. I just stared at the ceiling until the sun showed up like it pitted me. By morning, I knew what I had to do. At noon, I texted her. Me, we need to talk. Her, okay. Where? Me, the cafe near our old place. Her, alright. I'll be there. She came 20 minutes late, as always. I watched her walk in, sunglasses on, like the world didn't just collapse between us. "Hey," she said, sliding into the seat across from me. Her tone was casual. Too casual. "Hey," I replied, my throat dry. We sat there for a second. Just silence. The kind that hums so loud you feel it in your bones. Finally, I said, "You already know why I'm here." She looked down. "Ryan told you, didn't he?" I nodded slowly. "I saw the photo." Her lips parted slightly, then closed again. "I didn't plan it," she said. "It just happened." I leaned forward. "It just happened?" "Yes," she whispered. "I wasn't looking for it, Edison." I laughed, low and broken. "You weren't looking for it, but you found time to hold his hand. You found time to smile at him the way you used to smile at me." She didn't answer. Her fingers trembled against her cup. "Was I not enough?" I asked quietly. Her eyes met mine then, the first real eye contact we'd had in weeks. "You were safe." I stared at her. "Safe?" She nodded slowly. "You were steady. Predictable. Everything always felt so calm, so routine. But I wanted to feel something again. Something real. Something alive." The word alive stung more than anything. I exhaled through my nose, trying to hold myself together. "So, I wasn't exciting enough." "It's not like that," she said quickly. "I didn't mean to hurt you." "But you did." She looked down. "I'm sorry." I shook my head. "No, you're not. You're sorry you got caught. There's a difference." Her silence said everything. I asked, "How long?" She hesitated. "A few weeks. Before or after you said you needed space?" Her voice broke. "Before." That one word cracked something inside me. I leaned back, my chest hollow. "So when you said you needed to find yourself, you were already with him?" Tears welled up in her eyes. I was confused. "No," I said softly. "You were selfish." She swallowed hard. "I know. I just didn't expect it to go this far." "You never do," I murmured. She looked at me helplessly. "What do you want me to say?" "Nothing," I said. "There's nothing left to say." Her lip quivered. "Do you hate me?" I stared at her for a long time. "No," I said finally. "I wish I did. Hate would have been easier." She wiped her eyes with shaking hands. "I didn't want it to end like this." "How did you want it to end?" I asked. "With me waiting while you figure yourself out, in someone else's arms?" She flinched. "Please don't do this." "Do what?" I snapped. "Be honest. You made your choice." She took a deep breath. "I never stopped caring about you." I smiled bitterly. "You cared, just not enough to stay faithful." She opened her mouth, then closed it. "I messed up, Edison." "Yeah," I said quietly. "You did." The waiter approached, asking if we wanted to order. I shook my head. "We're done here." As he left, she whispered, "I wish you could understand." "I do understand," I said. "You got bored. You wanted a thrill. You thought love should feel like fireworks, not quiet mornings and steady peace." She looked away, tears streaking her face. I continued, my voice breaking, "You mistook comfort for dullness. But someday, you'll realize, peace was the love you spent your whole life searching for." She covered her face, crying softly. Please don't hate me for this. I don't, I said again. But I can't love you the same either. Silence. The kind that feels final. I stood up slowly. You wanted to feel alive, right? Well, congratulations. You've never looked more alive. She looked up at me, eyes swollen. Where are you going? Away, I said simply. Far enough that your memory can't find me. She grabbed my wrist. Don't go like this. Please. I looked down at her hand, the same hand that had once promised forever. Then I gently pulled away. I'm not leaving out of weakness, I said softly. I'm leaving because I still have dignity left. Her lips trembled. I'll come back, she whispered. I just need time. I smiled sadly. You already left. You just didn't notice when. Her tears fell onto the table as I turned to walk away. I didn't look back. The moment I stepped outside, the air hit me like truth, cold, sharp, and real. For the first time in weeks, I felt something close to peace. Not because I was okay, but because I finally stopped trying to fix something that was never broken, just abandoned. I stood in the doorway, staring at the walls that had once echoed with our laughter. The "For Sale" sign outside looked too final, too loud against the quiet inside. Ryan walked in, holding 2 coffee cups. You look like you're about to talk yourself out of it, he said, setting one down beside me. I already talked myself out of it a dozen times, I replied, taking the cup. But every time I remember her words, I stop. He nodded. The "I need thrill" speech? Yeah, I said, half smiling bitterly. That one. Ryan kicked at a loose box near his feet. You sure you're ready to do this? Selling the house, it's not small. I'm not sure, I admitted. But staying here feels worse. We stood there for a while, just looking at the half-empty living room. The sunlight hit the dust floating in the air like glitter from a world that didn't belong to me anymore. I still remember when we moved in, I said quietly. She wanted that blue wall. Said it made the house feel calm. Ryan chuckled. You hated that color. I did, I smiled faintly. But she looked so happy picking it out, I didn't argue. He looked around. You built something real here, man. Doesn't matter how it ended. Feels like it does, I whispered. Every corner reminds me of something I can't fix. Ryan placed his hand on my shoulder. You're doing the right thing. Sometimes burning it down is the only way to rebuild. I laughed softly. You make destruction sound poetic. It is, he said. You're not running away. You're choosing peace. I took a slow sip of coffee, letting his words sink in. The idea of peace felt foreign, like a language I'd forgotten how to speak. We started packing. Each box felt heavier than it should have. Not because of the things inside, but because of what they meant. This, I said, holding a photo frame, was from our first trip to the coast. She said it was the best day of her life. Ryan glanced at it. Keep it? I shook my head. No. Some memories need to stay buried. He didn't argue. He just kept folding things, quietly giving me space. Hours passed. The rooms emptied. Every echo felt like a ghost saying goodbye. You ever think she'll come back? Ryan asked suddenly. I hesitated. Maybe. But if she does, I won't be here. He smirked. Damn. That's closure if I ever heard it. Not closure, I said, taping a box shut. Just survival. When the moving truck arrived, I watched strangers carry away our furniture. They didn't know the arguments that happened on that couch, or the nights we fell asleep holding hands on it. To them, it was just another item. To me, it was a grave. Ryan came up beside me again. Where will you go? I bought a one-way ticket, I said. To where? I smiled faintly. I'll know when I land. He stared at me for a moment. You really didn't tell your family? No, I said. They'd try to stop me. Tell me to talk to her, to wait it out. But I can't wait for someone who walked away. Ryan nodded. You're stronger than you think. I don't feel strong, I admitted. Just tired. That's where strength begins, he said. When you're tired of breaking. The movers finished. The house stood hollow, stripped of everything that made it ours. I walked through each room one last time. In the bedroom, I paused by the window. She used to stand here every morning, I murmured. Said the light made her feel hopeful. Ryan watched me. And now? Now it feels like a spotlight on everything I lost. He didn't reply. Maybe there was nothing left to say. I locked the door, placed the keys in the agent's hand, and walked away. Every step felt lighter. At the airport, I sat by the gate, phone buzzing non-stop. My sister's name flashed on the screen, then my mother's. I turned it face down. Ryan's text came through, "You sure about this?" I replied, "Yeah." Silence is the only thing that doesn't lie. When the announcement called for boarding, I stood, looked back once, and smiled, not out of joy, but relief. For the first time in months, I felt unchained. The plane lifted, and with it, everything I couldn't let go of finally stayed behind. It had been 5 weeks since I disappeared. 5 weeks since I last saw the house where my life used to live. Now, I woke up to the sound of the river outside my window instead of her voice. The mornings were quieter here, no coffee arguments, no sighs, no, "we need to talk." Just silence. The kind that didn't ache anymore. My phone buzzed on the table. I ignored it, tying my shoelaces for my jog. When I came back an hour later, sweat dripping down my neck, I saw 15 missed calls. All from my mom. I called her back, half expecting the worst. "Mom?" Her voice came shaky. "She's been calling everyone, sweetheart. Your sister, your uncle, even me." I froze. "What?" "She's crying," Mom said softly. "She said she can't find you. She sounds broken." I laughed quietly, not out of cruelty but disbelief. "She said she needed thrills, remember? I'm not exactly thrilling." "Edison," Mom whispered, "people make mistakes." "Yeah," I said, "and some people live with them." There was silence. I could almost hear her choosing her words carefully. "She said she wants to talk. Just once." I sat down, rubbing my temples. "Did she say why?" "She said she made a mistake," Mom replied. "She said she thought she wanted excitement but all she found was emptiness." I let out a breath. 5 weeks ago, she told me she'd be back. I guess she didn't expect I'd move on first. "Are you happy?" Mom asked. "I'm peaceful," I said. "That's better than happy." Mom sighed. "I just don't like seeing people in pain." "Neither did I muttered. "That's why I left." She didn't answer. We both knew the conversation had reached the edge of something that didn't need words. When I hung up, I checked my messages. 42 missed calls. 17 voicemails. The first one played automatically. Her voice filled the room, trembling, uncertain. I need to talk to you. Please. I know I hurt you. I didn't think you'd actually disappear." I stopped the message. I couldn't listen to the rest. The second voicemail started on its own. "I went to our house," she said between sobs. "It's gone. Everything's gone. You sold it? How could you leave without saying goodbye?" I clenched my jaw. "Because you already did," I whispered to myself. The third one was quieter. "I made a mistake," she said. "I thought I needed something different, but all I needed was you." I turned off the phone. That night, I sat on my balcony, watching the lights shimmer on the river's surface. A breeze brushed past me, soft and forgiving. Ryan called later. "You heard?" he asked. "Yeah. She's been calling everyone." "She called me too," he said. "Asked if you were alive." "What did you say?" "I told her you're more alive than ever." I smiled. "Thanks." He hesitated. "You gonna call her back?" "No," I said quietly. "If I do, I'll forget why I left." He sighed. You ever think maybe she's changed? I stared at the night sky. Maybe she has. But I'm not the same man she left. He chuckled sadly. That's poetic. It's survival, I said. Poetry comes after pain. He paused. You sound different. I am, I said. I wake up without guilt now. He didn't say anything after that. Just the sound of wind on his end, and then the line went dead. I poured myself a cup of tea and sat in the dark. My phone buzzed again, her name lighting up the screen. I watched it ring until it stopped. Seconds later, another call. Then another. By the fifth one, I turned the phone face down. Please, let me explain, her voicemail began this time. You were safe. You were steady. I thought I needed storms. But all I found were ruins. I laughed under my breath. Now you know, I whispered. The night grew heavier, but it didn't press on me the way it used to. It just existed, like I did. Quietly. Freely. I thought about calling her back once, just to say goodbye properly. But what would I even say? That I forgive her? That I miss her? That I don't anymore? Instead, I deleted her number. When I looked at my reflection in the glass door, I almost didn't recognize myself. There was a calm in my eyes that hadn't been there for years. My phone vibrated one last time. A text appeared. I'm sorry. Please, just one call. I'll wait. I typed back, but didn't send it. You waited too long. I deleted the draft, turned off the phone, and went back to the balcony. The river kept moving, soft and endless. For the first time, I realized silence isn't empty, it's sacred. And maybe that's what healing really sounds like. I stared at my phone for what felt like an hour. Her name sat there on the screen like a ghost that refused to leave. I opened a new message. My fingers hovered above the keyboard before finally moving. Hey, I typed, then erased it. Too casual. Hi, I typed again, deleted it. Too cold. I sighed. Alright, I muttered to myself. If I'm doing this, I'm doing it properly. The words began to pour out like they'd been waiting for years. I forgive you, I wrote. Not because you asked for it, or because you deserve it, but because I deserve peace. I stopped typing, staring at the blinking cursor. The silence around me felt almost alive. You said you felt bored, I continued. You said you needed thrills. You got them, didn't you? I hope they were everything you wanted. I hesitated again, fingers trembling. You told me I was safe. You made safe sound like an insult. But being safe isn't boring, it's rare. It's what love was supposed to be. I leaned back in my chair, exhaling deeply. My mind flashed with every night I'd stayed awake wondering what I'd done wrong. I used to think I wasn't enough, I wrote, but now I see that I was just too steady for someone chasing chaos. The phone buzzed, another message from her. I miss you. Please, talk to me. I ignored it and kept typing. You broke me, I wrote, but breaking isn't always bad. It's how light gets in. I've found a version of myself that doesn't beg to be understood anymore. I smiled faintly. That sounds poetic, I muttered. She'd probably roll her eyes at that. Then I added. I hope you find peace too. Not in another person, but in yourself. Because if you don't, you'll keep running from every calm moment that tries to love you. I reread it. Every sentence felt final, like nails sealing a box I'd carried too long. Then came the hardest part. I loved you, I wrote. Truly. And maybe some part of me always will. But that love doesn't belong to you anymore. It belongs to the man who survived you. My throat tightened as I typed the last line. Goodbye, not with anger, not with regret, but with peace. I sat there in silence, staring at the message. It was long, raw, and unfiltered, the kind of truth that never finds an audience. My thumb hovered over the send button. Just one tap, I whispered. And she'll know everything. But then another thought crept in, what if I don't need her to know anymore? I set the phone down. My reflection stared back at me in the dark screen, calm, tired, free. The phone buzzed again. Another text from her. Please. I can't sleep. Just tell me something. Anything. I didn't reply. Instead, I highlighted the entire message I'd written, every word, every piece of closure I'd poured out, and pressed delete. Gone. It felt strange at first, like ripping out a page of my own story. But then, something shifted inside me. The air around me felt lighter. I stood up, grabbed my jacket, and stepped outside. The evening air smelled like rain and renewal. The streets were quiet, the kind of quiet that doesn't demand explanation. As I walked, I whispered to myself, you don't need to be hurt to heal. A soft wind brushed against my face, cool and forgiving. The city lights shimmered in puddles like tiny fragments of forgotten dreams. My phone buzzed once more in my pocket. I didn't even check. Instead, I looked up at the night sky and smiled. Not tonight, I murmured. Not ever again. I kept walking until the noise of the world faded behind me. My footsteps echoed softly on the wet pavement, steady and unhurried, a rhythm that finally felt like my own. For the first time, I didn't think about what she was doing, or who she was with, or what she wanted to say. I thought about nothing at all. And that nothing, that beautiful, weightless nothing, was peace. The text came on a Sunday morning. Ryan's name flashed across the screen. You might want to see this, he wrote. I blinked at the message, half awake, the sunlight crawling through my blinds. I typed back. See what? He sent a photo, her, sitting alone on a park bench, hair messy, face pale, eyes somewhere far away. She looks different, Ryan added. Like she hasn't slept in days. I stared at the picture for a while, feeling nothing. Not anger. Not satisfaction. Just a quiet emptiness that somehow felt peaceful. What happened? I asked. The guy she left you for cheated, he said. Same story, different cast. I leaned back, staring at the ceiling. Karma doesn't always knock, I murmured. Sometimes it just sits beside you and lets silence do the talking. Ryan chuckled through text. You okay, man? I smiled faintly. Yeah. Actually, yeah, I am. He called a few minutes later. Had to hear it from you, he said. You sound calm. Too calm, maybe. I'm not pretending anymore, I said. She's just a chapter that ended exactly how it needed to. Do you want to see her? He asked. I laughed quietly. No. What would I even say? Welcome to the consequences? He laughed too, but there was a pause afterward. You really don't hate her, do you? No, I said softly. Hate keeps you tied to something. I'm finally untied. There was silence on the other end, the kind that felt like understanding. Ryan finally said, You've changed, man. I had to, I replied. Pain teaches patience. Regret teaches distance. He exhaled. She asked about you, you know. What did she say? She said, Is he happy? I smiled. Tell her I am. Even if she won't believe it. Ryan hesitated. She told me she made the biggest mistake of her life. She probably did, I said, my voice steady. But that's her journey now. Mine's already moved on. He sighed. You sure you don't want closure? Closure isn't something someone gives you, I said. It's what you decide when you stop reopening old wounds. We talked for a bit longer, work, life, meaningless things, before hanging up. When the call ended, I stared at my phone again. One unread message blinked from an unknown number. I opened it. I know you probably don't want to hear from me, but I'm sorry. Truly. I lost everything chasing what wasn't real. I read it twice, then set the phone down. No reply. No anger. No rush to respond. Instead, I whispered to the empty room, life's too short for regrets. The word sounded different now, not like a defense, but a truth. I walked to the window. Outside, the sky was turning gold, the city coming alive. For months, mornings had felt heavy. Today, they didn't. I made coffee, the same way I used to when life still felt like something I had to escape. The difference now was that I liked the quiet. The peace didn't scare me anymore. The phone buzzed again, another message from her. I wish I could undo what I did. I smiled gently and whispered, me too. But if you did, I'd never have found myself. I didn't type it. I didn't need to. Some things are better left unspoken, they lose meaning once you try to explain them. I sat on the porch, watching people hurry past, chasing their own distractions. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't chasing anything. Ryan texted again. You good? I'm free, I replied. That's new. Yeah, I wrote back. Freedom's quiet. I just didn't recognize the sound before. I put the phone down, took a sip of coffee, and watched the steam drift upward, light, unburdened, disappearing into the morning air. Somewhere in that quiet, I realized something simple: I no longer missed her. Not the way she looked, or the way she laughed, or even the way she broke me. I missed the version of myself who didn't know heartbreak yet, but I didn't envy him. He hadn't learned peace. And now, I had.